Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in the bunker. Purple State Party. You know what we're doing here. We're representing America, the center, common sense, and things that purposely discharge. I don't know why. Anyhow, we'll start off with the title of the show, which is Dances with Brandons. Sticking with a movie theme here. I was inspired by this first because of Costner's work in Yellowstone. Love that. Love that show. Looking forward to 4 6s in 1883. That's not an ad, it's just my opinion. But anyhow, it was really inspired by the fact that fake First Nations lady here, Warren, decided to attack Elon Musk about not paying taxes. You know, as we can see here, yeah, he and she kind of went back and forth. He called her Senator Karen. And, you know, she, of course, wants to do what every leftist wants to do, which is, you know, control the poor and tax the rich. And part of her plan, of course, is trying to tax assets, you know, things that haven't actually realized an income yet. And that's why he didn't pay taxes. In 2018, he didn't collect a salary. He didn't sell any stocks. You know, whatever money he collected in interest, he spent it on things that were then deductible. If you have billions of dollars in the bank, you don't need to work, you don't need to collect a paycheck, you don't have an income to tax necessarily. And if you live frugally, if you live, you know, within your means with proper deductions, you can get it down to zero. You know, but who the hell is she to talk? This is a woman who faked her ethnicity, claimed to be Native American. You know, and that really sticks in my craw, as they say. You know, because myself, my true heritage is murky. You know, adoption papers from way back when were very non-specific. I don't really know what I am, but I would never try to claim that I'm something that I'm not. I just wouldn't do it. And I could innocently do it because I don't know. I honestly don't know. Really fogging up the glasses today. But he's going to pay $7.6 billion. That's like the budget for a small country. He's going to pay that in taxes. You know, and his factories and offices and all that kind of stuff, all of his little ventures, they generate income taxes through people's payroll taxes, you know, the corporate taxes, property taxes on properties that the company owns. He doesn't really own it. He doesn't really own the property. The company does. So that's just the way it works. You know, you put things in your business name, whatever. So it doesn't affect your personal, you know, your personal taxes when it's a business. You know, those are your business taxes. So that's separate. But, you know, I just thought that was kind of funny. And I really don't like her. So here you go. Here's some oldies but goodies. Mexican word of the day, nada. Still nada Indian. You know, only the government should have guns. A real Indian would know better. And the Land of Lies. Yeah. That woman was spectacular. And she should really just shut the hell up and creep off into retirement at this point. You know, she's made a lot of money. A lot more than her salary. So, you know, some people are saying that she didn't pay taxes, but what I found, she did pay taxes, but she's still a lying liar. And should probably have been drummed out for something like that. But, you know, kind of as we're going to see here, as we go along and as we've seen in the past, you know, the left takes care of their own. If you say and do the right things, they give you a pass on just about anything. If you don't say the right things, then you get treated like shit. I guess that's fascist of them. And Elon Musk has definitely said and done things that they don't really like. I mean, I'm sure they're not pleased that he made a stink about moving out of California. You know, moving his offices to Texas. You know, because it's too damn expensive here. So this week was also a fun one because I ended up agreeing with one of my least favorite people, AOC. Whatever the fuck her real name is. I don't even give a shit because I'm just going to go back to hating her after praising her. But that's the way of the world sometimes. But, Nancy Pelosi was asked about the fact that sometimes it appears that Congress members, both sides, and families and things like that, sometimes buy and sell stocks at seemingly just the right time. And how do they know? We have, different controversies. And as we can see, 52 members of Congress and 182 senior staffers have violated the Stock Act. And so AOC rightfully says maybe members of Congress shouldn't own stock because, as she says, they have access to sensitive information and they write major policy and they can influence where contracts go. If you knew that the government was going to, say, install a bunch of charging stations and you knew who was on the short list, you could just buy stock in those companies, knowing what's about to happen. And that's more than insider trading. That's market manipulation. But anyhow, let's get to some people who said some cool stuff. Rand Paul, if you think voter ID is racist but a vaccine passport is just fine, you need some serious help thinking through public policy. We're seeing that. But we're seeing people, how do you phrase this properly? But I would think being able to buy food and living your life day to day is more important than your right to vote. I mean, being able to cast a ballot isn't going to feed your stomach. So, something to think about. I love this one, Obama. You knew he was a liar, too. Talking about how the East Coast is going to be underwater. And then he turns around and he buys a fucking mansion on an island off the side of the East Coast, off the coast of the East Coast, however you'd say that, whatever. Essentially, if he's buying what he's selling, then he wouldn't have the jets, he wouldn't have the mansion. He wouldn't, we saw him in the midst of the COVID dancing at a party with no mask on, and I think this one really set me off because I've noticed a lot of times people accuse the Republicans of being hypocritical, and both sides are hypocritical, but lately, the hypocrisy has been coming from the left. They're the ones who, vilified Trump for banning travel to China, told people to go to Chinatown. Now they're banning travel from Africa, and they go, hey, it's okay. They fly their jets around and talk about climate change. They want to take away your guns. They have armed security. They're vilify Trump, for giving the rich tax breaks. And then in the Build Back Better plan, you've got tax breaks for the rich. I mean, they're hypocrites. Candace Owens back among us here. I just came across this one, about how her tweet about Jussie Smollett, I think a lot of people saw it because that it was one of those things where it was just too many little coincidences, like he's out late getting Subway in the middle of a vortex and people in MAGA hats beat him up. Like, once he said MAGA hats, I knew it was a lie personally, because it was just like, okay, maybe it was a hate crime. Maybe he was attacked for being black or gay or black and gay. I don't know. But once you threw in the MAGA hats, I kind of thought something was phony. Then I heard about the sandwich. And I'm like, okay. Another one this one's not going to age well. Whoever the fuck this person is really should just shut their mouth and cancel all their accounts. But they're trying to blame Kentucky's lack of climate control initiatives for tornadoes. That's not the way it works. They were going to have tornadoes with or without climate change. Larry Elder. Funny, I don't see anyone wearing Build Back Better hats. And you're not going to. There is no enthusiasm for what's going on right now. A vast majority of Democrats feel lied to. What's the difference between CNN and the Titanic? The Titanic had all its anchors when it sank. Oh my God. Chris Wallace expected to double CNN's viewership to 4. Yeah, they viewership is not as important as the fact that their articles are promoted on places like Google and Yahoo. So CNN has a much bigger footprint than just its viewership. But anyhow, I found that was funny. Meta attorneys Facebook fact check labels or opinion. Yeah. So who, where, what? Like, how are we getting our facts now? Like, this is why we're in the mess we're in with COVID, because we literally don't know who to trust anymore. I can't even trust the people I trust in reality, because who knows, I've tried to find some stuff on masks and their efficiency, and it took me forever to dig through all the crap. I mean, a lot of the articles that were still being promoted were back when people were treating COVID like an influenza, talking about, well, it stops the spittle. And it's like, yeah, but this is 1 micron. This rides on your breath. So if any air is getting out of your mask, you're contaminating the area. And bottom line, we're all going to get it. We're not going to win. Masks are not going to work. The vaccines at best mitigate the symptoms, but it's not going to stop the spread. So we should just take the masks off and just, lick park benches. Because it's inevitable at this point. The rate at which, Delta was something like 40% more transmittable than the original, the OG COVID as it's known now. And Omni here is 70 times more transmissible than Delta. So that's like 110% more transmissible than the original. Yeah, let you read this one for a second here. Really ungrateful. When you hear that that's her backstory, you just think, man, like, only today and only in America can you get so much and complain about it all the time. It's almost like it's guilt. Anyhow, we'll move on. Sad news, the NFL has decided to partner with other countries. I've always been against this. I don't like international games. I think it fucks up the game and whatever. But they want to make money, but, they're going to send the Rams to China. They're going to get in bed with China. I just don't understand it. Like, where have our values gone? They're a despicable country, run by a despicable leader under a despicable system. Yeah. Somehow Germany lucked out. They're going to get Brady if he's still around. Feel bad for Brazil. They're getting the Dolphins. Yikes. We're going to send some more over there. Let's skip that one. So, Governor Newsom was getting sick of people leaving LA and just going over to Orange County where they had different rules and regulations. So, to fuck up Christmas, Noodles here issued a statewide indoor mask mandate for at least a month. This is not about keeping us safe. This is about control. Because it's the proof's there. I mean, if you want to argue with me, go ahead. I love it. I need people to start commenting. But we're not going to stop it. Nothing we've done has slowed it down. It has just mutated and gotten more contagious. Too much coffee. California institutes mask mandate to flatten the horizontal line. Yeah, guys, I mean, at this point, we really do need to look at deaths. We need to stop with the how many cases there are, because we don't report on how many cases of the cold there are. When the cold would come through town, everybody would get sick. Entire families, boom. But nobody was reporting on it because people weren't dying of it. But they're just, again, it's not about safety, it's about control. California imposes statewide mask mandates on your mom because she's ugly. I got to bring up a mom joke right there, but yeah. The B, man. Most people are ignoring it. I certainly was out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I was out among the masses. I actually take care of a major shopping mall in the area as doing their fire alarms. And, the people were wearing masks, don't get me wrong, but there was a decided lack of enforcement. They weren't doing the social distancing at all. That's gone out the window. I think the average person has figured out that there's not much we can do, that we had the 15 days to flatten the curve. The curve didn't get flattened, so what the fuck is the point? But hey, Noodles looks good in his mask, doesn't he? I wish he has a fucking muzzle, man. That guy's going to run for president, people. Yeah, here we go. California lost population for the second year in a row. Something, never happened before in history, but we've done it 2 years in a row now. And of course, they blame it on the lack of migration and COVID deaths and all of that. And let's be honest, there is a lot of good in California, but that has nothing to do with the government. There's a lot of bad in California, and that has everything to do with the government. And I think people are hesitant to move to an expensive state where, you're going to end up with bums sleeping on your front lawn. And that is becoming more and more and more a reality. I mean, right, at first it was just pockets, and here we have big pockets, but it is seeping everywhere because our police just can't really do much about it. They're not allowed to. Boy, we got a lot to cover today, man. Whew. Oh, boy. What do pro-vaxxers and anti-vaxxers have in common? They'll never be fully vaccinated. See, because they're just again, I don't think this is about safety. I think this is about control. I really do. I think this is about control, and it's also a really good way to cover up the things we should be talking about. The stories are slipping out, but we've got stupid crime right now, and we have a governor who wants to deny it. A governor who says things like, shoplifting is down. I have the numbers, but you won't believe them, so I'm not going to show them to you. Yeah, again, if you're doing catch and release, if you're just not prosecuting, if you're just not arresting, that doesn't mean crime is down. That means arrests are down. Prosecutions are down. Your definition of what is a crime is down. That's the And they try to focus on Prop 47. No. Texas has a much higher limit. Texas is like $2,500 that you can basically steal, and it's still a misdemeanor. That's not it. It's the fucking DAs. It's the George Soros people out there. Noodles again here, because this guy, like I said, he's going to run for president, so he needs to get all the publicity. He's going to try a Texas-like law to ban assault weapons. Long and short of this, that's already been ruled on. You can't sue manufacturers for goods that are non-defective. You can't. Or what are we going to start selling? Suing Pepsi, sue the auto manufacturers, the pharmaceutical companies. We're going to sue everybody that has any potential danger. Let's start suing the matchbook company because of fires. They contribute to fires. But, I think Joey here points it out the best way. If he wanted to be like Texas, he would make it so you could sue those who actually commit the crime. That what he's proposing is basically like Texans suing the scalpel company. So why don't you get tough on crime? The DA in LA, Gascon, and the same as whatever the fuck his name is up at Frisco, and now we've got some new attorney general, Ivan whacking off or something. I don't know what the fuck his name is. They're all Soros people, man. They're all Soros people. They won't even prosecute gun enhancements. But he wants to say that he's proposing this for safety. Just whatever. While we're on the subject of safety, more adults between 18 and 45 died of fentanyl overdoses than COVID, motor vehicle accidents, cancer, and suicide. We talking about that? We're going to work on that? We got to figure that one out? Or are we just going to continue with the smokescreen of COVID and we're going to blame guns and what? What is the end result of all this cover-up? The fact that people die and nothing gets done? But meanwhile, we have a convenient excuse. I mean, this sums it up. Working class, please help us. Republicans, no. Democrats, no. But with a pride flag and some BLM shit. Again, how does this help? How does this help any of us? Is this what we want? Do we want a right and a left that just simply ping-pongs us back and forth and makes money off of it? CNN producer, they reset days since an employee committed a sex crime, counter back to zero because one of their producers is trying to start up a sex ring. And meanwhile, Apple News and The Atlantic are pushing the story, oh, there is no trafficking. It's all overblown. It doesn't really exist. We're number 3 in the world. It is our number 2 in this country's crime category, behind drugs. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. You know? Are we going to get serious about it? Or are we just going to continue to allow it to happen? As long as we have some convenient excuse, some cover-up, something to distract us. Oh, God. Yeah, there's Soros, Mr. Melty Face, like a Bond the Bond villain that he is. The puppet master behind these people who are just deflecting and trying to, like, make us look over here while all the shit's happening over here. You know? It's creepy motherfuckers like Soros and people of that ilk who indulge in the child trafficking. They're the ones who want, I mean, look, I mean, that's just how it is. You know, when you have everything, sometimes you want the taboo. That's what I believe it's behind. Man, I shouldn't have added to my plate, but again, it's been one of these kind of weird weeks. And, you know, we have J.K. Rowling quoting George Orwell here and then adding the penis individual who raped you as a woman. And, of course, people such as Jonathan Van Ness here go on and on about her transphobia and trans women. Look, okay, look. If you are a man and you commit a crime and Scotland, where this is all originating from, says that you can self-attest to being a woman and they'll put you in a woman's prison and treat you like a woman and put you down on your crime sheet as a woman, you might want to just take that offer because it might be safer for you, okay? There are going to be more men who take advantage of this than actual trans women that exist in those countries. Because that's what criminals do. Criminals milked the COVID relief for billions. That's what they do. They find loopholes and they exploit it. And in the case that she's making, that the person who raped a girl or a woman, either way, can claim to be a woman and then be put into a woman's prison where essentially they could just continue to commit rape is sort of insane. And it's not about trans women. It's about the men that will exploit something like that with no proof. Just attest to it. Just tell us you're a woman and we'll treat you like a woman. You know, no proof. None. And of course there's going to be proof. If somebody was seriously transitioning, there would be proof. There would be photographic evidence. There'd be an ID. There'd be like, look, when I got my driver's license, I put down female. Fine, great. If you are a trans woman who commits a crime and you need to go to the women's prison, fine. Okay, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with what the consequences of that, of you possibly meeting somebody, her getting pregnant, whatever. We'll deal with that. Cool, I understand that. But only if there's proof. Only if we could say within reasonable doubt, yes, this is a trans female, not just somebody faking it. Jesus, do people not understand that we can disagree with some of this stuff without hating? I mean, isn't that what Chappelle just went through? Now, JK might be a little bit different. I know she said some other stuff. But in this case, I think it sort of makes sense. So, I'm going to kick off the best of the week here. All I want for Christmas is Beth to spend one day on The View. If you don't know who Beth is, Beth Dutton, Yellowstone, man, you should get acquainted because, boy, she is one mean-ass devil. Whew! She'd tear through The View. If SNL wanted to be a real comedy again this week, they would hire Donald Trump to play Alec Baldwin. I just saw that. I know this isn't quite relevant, but I literally just saw it, and I love having Jim in the best of. They're having so many break-ins in San Francisco. They're just leaving their trunk open so that people don't have to break in. I mean, I used to do that when I delivered TVs. We'd go to certain areas, and we would, after we would get everything out, we would leave the door open and show that there was no TV back there, so people wouldn't break in. But you couldn't get to the cab, so. Yeah, boy, am I out of touch, Pelosi ass Butler? These are the people you keep electing, and you say that you're progressive, and you say you want change, and then you hire elite old people. Okay, Hillary Clinton reportedly considering losing again in 2024. This is speaking of out of touch elitist. Jim's back again. Look at this. If the government has enough money to send to foreign countries, then the government is taking too much money from the taxpayers. Yeah, that's kind of true, isn't it? If you think about it, like, we're really not supposed to be running around helping all these people. That's not really what our taxes are for. It's, the premise is to run the country, to defend the country, to help the citizens. But I just found that funny. But yeah, I wholeheartedly do agree with that. Like, the amount of foreign aid that we send out is ridiculous. I understand the necessity for it. I understand some of the nuances to it, but it does philosophically seem a little bit stupid that we pay for that. But whatever. That's fine. This is a good little satire site, bleep.satire there. If you don't buy anything, you won't experience inflation, explains Jen Psaki. Due to rising coal prices, Santa will give bad children a copy of Andrew Cuomo's book. Oh, that is vicious. Trust the science is the most anti-science statement ever. Questioning science is how you do science. I really wish I had less to talk about because I could talk about this all night. But yeah, we live in a world now where you don't question the science, even if the science is just completely flawed, like mass. This is at best 25% effective. So if I had the vid, I would have already contaminated this entire room. I mean, that's just it. You see the fog on my glasses? That's why I have to keep going like that. Well, that fog would contain COVID because it's small. It comes out on air vapors, water vapors. Go watch the guy who puts on the mask in the middle of the snow and look at how much vapor comes out from those masks. Even a good N95 still has about 10% leakage. And when you're talking about a virus that's 1 micron, that's all you need. See, I just steamed up my glasses again. That would be escaping. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, I don't know how to explain it any better than, like, if I didn't know it was useless, I would play along. Joe Biden is the laughingstock of the world, and Mitt Romney is still a dick. Yeah, I have to agree with that. California has the highest unemployment rate in the nation right now. Another thing for us to be proud of. Go California. Noodles and the way they run things, man. They make it difficult. They make it easy for criminals and difficult for law-abiding citizens, and I don't understand how people don't see that. Guys, just, get ready, pal. You're gonna in it for a problem. Yeah. That's his response. Because they're thinking and they know it. People are seeing through their policies. They're seeing that this progressive way of thinking is just doomed. It's doomed to failure. You know, they're being taken advantage of, you know. Maybe they have good intentions. I don't know. My fear, though, is that this is like step 7 of the Marxist playbook, you know. Create so much fucking chaos that the average citizen feels like we have to have government to keep the wolves at bay. We're going to end with this one. This is a Mark Twain quote. It's easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they've been fooled. And that's what we're living in right now. That's a very good, apropos quote for right now. You know, something to think about is that, you know, Trump's approval rating was low. It was in the toilet. But it was in the toilet based on his personality. More so than Biden's approval rating based on his performance and his competency. Okay, Trump was a loose cannon. I'll admit it. Trump sometimes said the wrong thing. I'll admit it. But let's go Brandon, okay, is a saying for a reason. Make America Great was a saying for a reason because people believed in it. When you wake up and you realize that you've been fooled, you're going to be angry. And when I look back at the presidents in my lifetime, when I see the Democrats, I see things that they did that screwed me over. Barack with his credit. Clinton, when he proposed insurance and my hours were slashed brutally. You know? And then under Biden and his fellow Democrats, I've gotten to the point where I can't even stand my state. I feel troubled for my country. I didn't feel this kind of anxiety for the first 3 years of Trump's presidency. But when it started to look like he might win re-election, you know, the left went crazy and started burning down cities in the name of justice. Things that had already, as far as I'm concerned, been solved. We understand what we've done wrong in the past. We understand that it's not right to judge people by the color of their skin. We understand the message of Martin Luther King. And people who don't understand it or people who don't want to live by that code, they got shut down. They got shut down by everybody. But look where we're at now. Look where we're at. Here in California, I feel it even more deeply than maybe people in Republican states. You know, because not only do I get it from Biden, I get it from Noodles. You know, I've often said that until recently my wife was not political, but it just, the tide of bullshit has just swept over. Things like what JK was talking about. You know, the people like Elizabeth Warren, the inflation that we're feeling right now, gas prices that we're feeling right now. That's the work of one party. You know? So there's a lot of people out there who have been fooled, and we need to unfool them, I guess. But we can't do it with lies, and we can't do it with exaggerations. Just report what's there. Just report what's there. Like with Elon Musk. He's about to pay $7.8 billion in taxes, yet one of them is calling him a tax cheat. There's no exaggeration. Warren said it. That's what Elon's going to have to pay. This is why Elon didn't pay in 2018. Straight facts. That's it. So keep it straight, okay? Because this is really, we are on the ledge right now. And I don't say that as hyperbole. I say that because that's where we are. We're on the ledge. Copious out.